Peace, everybody. Dirty Digits, Scratch DJ Academy, New York City, and we're back again to crush quarantine with Monster Energy. And today we're breaking down probably one of the most expressive scratches that any DJ can have in their arsenal. We're taking it to Philly to talk about the transform scratch. So check it out. All right, for us to get into the transform scratch, we need to make sure we're starting the scratch with our fader closed, and then we're also ending it in that same closed position. So the transform is really about punching our sound in with the fader. Now, there's a couple different ways we can move the fader. One being with our wrist, sort of shaking our wrist over the fader. Doesn't have to necessarily be over, but as long as we can sort of snap our wrist and get that on-off idea with the fader, we can keep it comfortable. The other way is what we call the spring method, where we use a little bit of constant amount of light pressure on the edge of the fader cap, and I'll strike my finger in. That pressure with my thumb is still there, so when I remove my finger, it closes it back up and sort of acts as a spring. So I highly suggest getting comfortable doing the scratch with both methods of using the fader, and that way we can learn and master our instrument in the process. All right, so let's get into the scratch itself. So how we're gonna start this thing is we're gonna do 2 transforms going forward, or I could say 2 clicks going forward, and we'll keep the fader closed coming back. So it's gonna look and sound like this. All together. And that's really it. So let's do a couple beat exercises and get a couple different ideas before we get out of here. Now again, we're gonna start really slow and then we'll add a little bit more as we go. So we're gonna start going 2 clicks forward and keeping the fader closed coming back. And 5, 6, 7, 8. All together. So let's add one more click in there. So let's try to go 3 clicks going forward, keeping the fader closed coming back. 7, 8. All together. Let's throw one more click in there. Let's try to go 4 forward, 0 back. 7, 8. All together. Now, to make this scratch our own and have our own unique voice with it, let's try mixing and matching these different patterns together to get some nice swing and syncopation. So I'm gonna start going 2 forward, 3 back, and sort of leveling it up from there. There it is, the transform scratch. And with all the scratches we've learned up to this point, it's definitely worth mentioning that this is probably the first one that we might not have the ability to execute this thing on both sides, and that's totally cool. If you're having problems getting this scratch, I suggest trying this on the other side and the other platter, and you might have those big breakthrough moments that we're all going for. We're gonna keep leveling up in all these videos. Until then, Dirty Digits, Scratch DJ Academy, New York City, and peace.